Since the dawn of time, man has asked one simple question. Which is the best 16-bit version of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie? Well, I'm here to answer that question, probably with an immense bias towards Super Nintendo. So this is the SNES version, which I'm assured by these wonderful on-screen graphics was developed by Natsumi. Although if you look at the title screen, I'm pretty sure it says something completely different, so let's just swiftly move past that. So the cool thing about these games, I suppose cool is the operative word, isn't it? To me, as a person who was a Power Rangers fan in 1995 at the ripe old age of 11, I always found it cool when you had two games of the same name that are actually completely different. So in this respect, it's cool. There you have it. So I'm going to start with the SNES version. Okay, first issue with this game, there is no free movement. There are two planes, the top and the bottom. That's... I grew up playing the actual the previous game in this series, which pretty much played the same. When you're a kid, if you see like a turd in a box and the box has got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sticker on it, that's a great turd. You'll love that turd. You don't care that it's actually a turd because it's the Turtles' turd. And that principle applies here as well. So I enjoyed that game because it was the Power Rangers and I was an idiot kid. I still maintain there is some level of enjoyment you can get out of that. And this one, the sequel, is actually significantly better, but that still doesn't necessarily make it a good game. Further to that point, so you have a jump button, an attack button, a special move button, which takes away from my power meter down the bottom. Now if I fill that up, I will in fact morph into a Power Ranger. So you're kind of encouraged not to waste that on the enemies. So I'm going to save that up just so you can see that in action. So literally, there are no combos, there's just an attack, a crouched attack. If you hold up and press punch, I don't know how effective that is in combat, let's put that to the test. Alright, that was pretty cool. So, you know, it's kind of cool, they jump between the planes, you kind of swat them out in the air, that's pretty awesome. One of the weird things, and I think it's to do with the fact that you gain power from each enemy you dispose of. Yeah, one of the weird things is they're kind of just on a set course. So unlike in Streets of Rage, where they just stay on the screen walking back and forth until you kill them all, in this game they just walk on by. Look at that. So for the most part, I guess you don't really have to fight them. I wonder if I could just ignore the game for a while. Look at this. Look, they're just gone. So there you go. Kind of make your own difficulty in this game. I do appreciate any game where the enemy characters can be killed either by each other or by being thrown off of ledges or hit by cars. That kind of shit's cool. Oh god. One thing that isn't cool is there's no run button in this game. So unlike a Golden Axe or Streets of Rage where you double tap a direction and start running, that just doesn't exist here. So there's no awesome flying kick move like in Golden Axe. There's just this pace permanently, which is kind of a bummer. What's also a bummer is when you jump. Oh, hang on, we've got some transition to another environment. When you jump, you do this. I think this might just be specific to the Green Ranger, I'm not 100% sure. Check that in a minute. But basically, you want a flying kick that has like a downwards diagonal trajectory, right? So that you can jump in the air and hit enemies below you. Not in this fucking game. In this game, it's overhead all the way. So that kick's kind of useless. I'm wondering if they made that so lame because if you had that and this, you'd be overpowered or something. I don't know. I think it's just bad design. But that's just me. You know what? It's Morphin time. So again, you've got the cool animation. This, as a kid, I didn't actually play this as a kid. Like I say, I only played the prequel, but that would blow my goddamn mind. So the Power Ranger's pretty much the same as the teenager. Exact same moveset, with one sick exception. Instead of that cool Russian kick, he's got this awesome uppercut, which is just honestly the best thing in the game. Which probably doesn't say a lot about this game, does it? Another cool thing I discovered, you can swing for the food sign. Don't really know why. It doesn't seem to serve any purpose, because you can't hit anyone unless they're already in the air. And it's another one of those examples where I can just hang out here, pun intended, and wait for the enemies to leave the combat arena, and look, I'm ready to move on. Right, here we go. So this has got to be it, right? It's got to be there for them. Can it? No, you can hit one of them. This game's definitely got a share of half-baked ideas. Oh dear God. I'm pretty sure, you know, I don't know what the power meter does when you're actually a Power Ranger. I don't think there's any further form you can kind of evolve to. Oh, the signs, goddammit. You may have noticed I'm extremely good at this game. I think one thing this game does have that I think is better than the Mega Drive version, and that is the soundtrack. So it's kind of catchy, kind of cool. Whereas the Mega Drive one's a bit of a mess. Alright, what we'll do. Punching these to death. Oh god, no. God damn it. Wait, so we can uppercut these. Come on. Alright, this is weak. Wait a minute. Wrong plane. Oh, now they've swapped. God damn it. Come on, boys. I mean, does this constitute... I don't think this constitutes good gameplay. I am dead. Please tell me I've got continues. No, they're flat out putting me back to the beginning of the level. Wow. I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear all the Power Rangers play the same. He's also got... Oh, he's got the flying kick. Here we go. This is the character you want to play as. So, rather than explain everything I can about the game in this run, I'm actually just going to stomp some enemies and see if I can get somewhere. I don't know, visually it is kind of a mixed bag. The Power Rangers themselves, or the teenagers, are unusually skinny compared to the other characters like the putties. The background characters obviously don't even have a single frame, well, sorry, they don't have a second frame of animation, just a still frame. That would have been nice if he was just, you know, tapping a toe, anything really. Oh, there you go, he's moving. I stand corrected. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, wow, he's got the uppercut. Look at that. That's pretty cool. So he doesn't have the sick Russian dance, but he does have a mighty uppercut. Oh, morphin time. So they each have a unique morphing animation, which is cool. Like, oh, the one other thing you can do, wait, where is it? Somewhere in here. Sick flips, which I think a couple of those frames make you invincible, but it's pretty useless because the timing on it's awful. So, here we go. And look at this! That's a downgrade! When he was in teenage form, he could do a flying kick. Now he's this heroic Power Ranger. He's fucking useless and can only throw a punch in the air. God damn it. This game's definitely going to make you mad. It's naff. One thing it does have going for it, 2-player mode, which was not in the prequel. In what world is it an okay idea to create a beat 'em up that's single player only? Probably in the same one where it's reasonable to have only 2 planes instead of full movement. Having said that, the prequel not only doesn't have 2 planes, it's locked to a single plane. Holy crap. And I love that game. How delusional can one man be? It's like Stockholm Syndrome, isn't it? So one of the things the previous game had was Zord battles, which is the giant transforming monstrosities. Giant transforming robots that the Power Rangers have in the series. So you'd have battles with them. They played quite poorly, I'm sure you'd be surprised to hear, but I'm wondering if those are in this. They were kind of different to the main game in that Power Rangers game in the sense that it was more like a one-on-one fighter, like a very, very terrible Street Fighter. Classic 16-bit delayed explosion. Is he going to crash to those? What luck. Oh my god! Such skill. Right, we're about to find out what happens when you have full power as a... Is he walking the hole? No. Full power as an already morphed ranger. Brace yourself. I've just wasted a screen-destroying special ability. Nice. Well, at least now I know. That's the important thing. Knowing is, in fact, half the battle. Am I supposed to... Another rudimentary platforming there. There we go. Out. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit of a personal victory here that I've gotten to this far in the stage. Stage 1, may I add, of a children's game. I'm killing it. There are 2 difficulty options, normal and hard. I'm sure you'll be surprised to hear that I'm on normal. If there was easy, that's where I'd be. It's fire raining from the sky. Oh, bastard. No, no. Oh, I'm dead again. Right, here we go. Here's the first thing of note. Check out the state of the theme song. With extended drum fill. Has it crashed? Nope. That is bizarre. Like a couple of extra bars of that drum fill for some reason. Here we go. This is the better version of the game, hands down. And now I shall show you why, as I probably also die on stage 1. Now again, the sprites don't look particularly great, and you don't play as the teenagers in this one, you just jump straight into the fully morphed Power Rangers. I'm going to bust out the White Ranger. Please, me boy. Right, here we go. Here's the first improvement. Ah! Freedom of movement! And, wait, yes, double tap, I can actually fucking fly and kick people. Brilliant. Already a better game. One thing, and bear in mind, obviously, I've not reached past stage 1 of the SNES version, but the enemies in this are actually from the film, which you think might be pivotal in a game called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers The Movie. Apparently not the case in the SNES version, where they just used the old sprites from the previous game. Those bastards. Also, look, we've got animated background characters, animated NPCs. Come on, man, it's really way better. There's actual combos, there's a throw, and a sleeper hold for some unknown reason. Another cool thing is you can spam attacks like in Streets of Rage, so, you know, I'm just gonna kill this guy right up. He's pissed me off now. Get out of it! What I was trying to say is, in Streets of Rage you can kind of get 2/3 of the way through the combo, like that, and stop, and then just resume. Unfortunately that requires timing, which I do not possess. Nonetheless, I assure you it can be done in this too. But that's just... Oh, I swear to God, the flying kick, that's all I need. But in addition to that, you've also got a running swipe with the sword. So yeah, weapons are in this, which apparently aren't in the SNES version as well, which is baffling. It was in the prequel. Nothing like a step back for a sequel, is there? And that's awesome. So, smash some more Oozman. Obviously it's 2-player, as is the SNES one. Were I a man with friends, perhaps I could illustrate this point with footage, but tragically that is not the case. If you jump without a direction, you've got that flip. That seems pretty cool. There is also a special move, which is that. So that would be the A button on the Mega Drive. I can't quite remember, is it Final Fight where you have a special attack and when it connects you lose health for having used it? I believe it might be Final Fight. Regardless, it's the same system in this. So let's try again. When I hit this, I actually lose health myself. Which is quite lame. But as there was a full health token on the screen, didn't really matter. Like the SNES version, I don't think there's any difference between the characters, so they don't play differently. In fact, there may be even less difference in this one, because the SNES has those kind of uppercuts and dancing kicks. So I've already reached the second stage, so it must be a better game. Let's see if we can confirm my theory about the characters being the same. Surely the pink one's got to be the most profoundly different, right? Yeah, just got the same moves. Oh my God, no! I don't know why, but I think the more I play this game, the more I start to enjoy the soundtrack. It wasn't as immediately striking as the SNES one was. But again, if you're listening to a great song whilst you're being tortured and set on fire, you're probably going to learn to dislike that song. Whereas in this game, the songs might be mediocre, but because the gameplay is actually fun, I find myself enjoying them more. That SNES game. There are definitely times in my life where I've said, that's a good game, I enjoy that game. What a fool. So I feel this is just the kind of game that you could easily smash out on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. I had a lot of undeserved hatred towards Sega as a kid, purely based off the argument that I had a Nintendo, therefore it was better. Which is particularly odd when you're a kid. As an adult, I kind of get that, because you invest money in it, and then you're in that state of denial. No, it's the best one! But as a child, well, I suppose it's the same thing. I suppose your possessions are kind of your a physical representation of your ego and worth. Therefore, my console being better than yours makes me better than you. Is that how that works? I don't know. But it was important to me that the SNES was better in every way. And multi-platform games like this, clearly the SNES version would always be better, unequivocally, without question. Turns out I was wrong. Whoops. I do wonder how I would have responded to this if I played it in the day though. I remember playing the, there's another Power Rangers game on the Genesis, which is literally, again I think it's like a one-on-one fighter where you just play as the Zords. And it was quite fun, again, at the time when I was a kid. But what was weird about it, I remember the environments being quite large, but the actual Zords themselves being absolutely tiny, just in regards to the sprite size. So I might going back and have a look at those. And on the other side of the coin, the SNES version had massive sprites, but the gameplay was just completely rotten. Just Shaq Fu levels of war. Actually, you know what? Shaq Fu is definitely better than that Power Rangers game. Easily. Shaq Fu gets a real bad rep. A real bad rap? A rap rep. Both of them. I don't think it's not a great game, but like to herald it as the largest, most foul piece of shit in existence is a bit of a stretch. Oddly, the new Shaq Fu game is worse than the original. I don't know if that's some ironic thing that they've intentionally done. I sincerely doubt it. I think it was just crummy developers making a bad game. And there's plenty of that going around these days. Okay. Okay, so I guess rather than lives, you've got 3 health bars. 2. And provided you get a power up before it drains all the way down, or refill in that colour. No, it's happening. Oh, you... No! I refuse to die. Right, Oozman. Is it Oozman? It's like Henry Oozman. Is Oozman a name? I don't know. It seems plausible, doesn't it? Dr. Edgar Oozman, at your service. Smash you, smash you. Come on, see them boss battles. Oh my god, you can do the ever elusive vertical runs if I double tap up. That's amazing. So real. Right, I finally hit the backflip kick because I'm just so damn cool. Right, now I'm back in the blue health as well, so shit's really going my way now. I'm not gonna lie, the novelty's wearing off. The one enemy type starting to get to me. It's not getting to me enough that I want to switch back to the SNES version, I'll tell you that much. Worth mentioning the horrible stereotyping of the Power Rangers. I say horrible, that's like an inherited opinion, I don't really care, but the Black Ranger was an African American gentleman, the Pink Ranger was a lady, the Yellow Ranger was an Asian lady. That one might be a bit iffy, but that was the 90s, that was how we did things. Subtle racism. Right, here we go. Ah! So, I know that's... There we go. Ninja Megazord, Falcons. I mean, I love the White Ranger, but are you going to choose a giant monster robot or a fucking bird? Come on. Get him that Ninja Megazord. Let's do this. Will there be an animation where they combine? I don't know if that qualifies as animation, but I'm down. That's cool. Alright, I'm already on board with this. So we've got a block button, punches, sword swipe, and that's just me dashing. So if you dash, you actually do a hurricane kick, which I'm sure for legal purposes is not called that in this game. Fucking bee bastard. Right, does that... It's literally a block button. Oh, you son of a bitch. Well, you know, this is one question answered. Are there Zord battles? Yes. Are they worse than the main game's combat? Yes. Oh. If we could smash those buildings, it would be awesome. But hey, I guess, you know, it isn't really Godzilla, is it? Oh, Godzilla. Godzilla's the best kind of hero. I like any hero who causes just horrible amounts of collateral damage with whatever they do. You know, like you accidentally burn down a school to save a baby. So that was alright, saved a baby. Obviously, killed, you know, a great deal more, but all in the name of heroism. Get out of it. Wonder what the over-under is on that. Now, which one? Like, if you save 1 million people, but you kill one in cold blood, I suppose you're still going to prison, aren't you? Stupid law. I feel like for each person you for each person you save, you should get a murder. You should get like a get out of jail free card, or a person of equivalent value. Let's say you've saved the president, you can now kill who's of equivalent value to the president. In America's case at the moment, probably a hobo. So you save Donald Trump, you can kill a hobo. Pick a hobo, anyone you want. That's a good system. It encourages a form of heroism, and it also gives you an outlet for your murderous rage. Right. I like the traffic. He just parks on the bridge. Like, yeah, those fucking giant robots having a battle, mate. Should be on his way to work. Bugger it. In fairness, it doesn't take much to convince me not to go to work. Giant robots battling in the street, definitely enough. But there you go. Oh, this was Scorpitron. Was that actually the boss? Christ, it was. Well, he got annihilated, and that was a good time. That was okay. You know, the fact that it possesses boss battles is a plus in the Mega Drive column. I'm gonna go with this lad. He's called Billy. He's the Blue Ranger. In fact, I will switch back to the SNES version in a minute to show you the difference in their depiction of the Blue Ranger, which you might find quite fascinating. Oh, flying kicks back. So here we go. We've got the parties again. Oh yeah. Now, the cool thing about the SNES one... Oh, there it is. I was going to say, they explode when you kill them, so at least we got that going. Oh, there we go. Nice little attack there. You know what I miss about this? So, there was a terrible Power Rangers game that came out recently. I don't know what it was called. It came out on the PS4, Xbox One, probably Steam. And, oh, it's an abomination. But the one thing it had going for it was a somewhat authentic putty sound. Although this could just be me recalling it wrong. I just need to recall them making this kind of like noise every time you're whipping their ass. If that was in this game, it would be tremendous, but alas, it's not. Fortunately, S. Sentinel Neck is in this game, who I presume, or at least hope, is not a canonical villain, for fuck's sake. Right, here we go. No. Oh, no, she's had enough. Can I? Oh, yeah. Planning on making a bunch of these videos. The goal is to convince me that the Mega Drive is actually great, which, you know, I'm on board with the Mega Drive for the most part. There's some good stuff. The controller is one of the things I don't like about it. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't designed for the human hand, was it? Just a bizarre, chunky nightmare of a thing. Which I always found really weird. And yet the SNES controller is super comfortable. And give you a little peek behind the curtain, I'm playing this using a SNES controller for both versions of the game, because I'm just that caliber of monster. Specifically, they are... I've forgotten what they're called now. The 8-bit Do. Is it 8-bit Do or 8-bit Do? I don't know, tell me if you know. The 8-bit Do control pad. This is the one with the 2 analog sticks and the rumble, and the 4 shoulder buttons, which is absolutely tremendous. It really is. There's something... I don't know... wonderful about playing with a SNES controller and having feedback on the controller. It's weird. Like some kind of horrible dystopian future that was never meant to be, and yet here it is. Wireless as well, no wires, it's got rumble. I'll tell you what, if you think about buying one, by the way, it is a really good controller. The only issue I have with it is that the analog sticks are ever so slightly too close together, which will cause you to run into this weird issue where your thumbs will touch when you play a game. Which, I don't know, the first time that happened to me, it just freaked me out. That's normally, it brings you back to the real world, right? Like, you get fully immersed in a game. You kind of forget you're using analog sticks. You're just one-to-one with the game that you're playing. And then when you think your thumbs start touching, you're just like, oh god, it's all real, my horrible life, no! And you don't need that. You don't want to break the immersion. So I imagine if they make a 2.0 version of this controller, the thumbsticks will be further apart. But who's to say? that's the case. I'm not going to buy one. I'll definitely buy one. Don't even know why I even said that. Right, you know what, I'm going to have a little... I might finish this level, have a glimpse at what comes next, and then switch back to the SNES version. Because now we've got like some context, right? You've seen the SNES version on its own. Now you've seen this somewhat decent game. Then when we switch back, I'm hoping it'll reveal the true horror of the Super Nintendo version. That's my plan. That's why you should always eat your vegetables first when you have your dinner. Because there's no going back. Once you've had a bit of delicious succulent meat, you don't want to eat a fucking bit of lettuce, do you? Come on, let's be honest. I don't have another Zord battle in me. Ooh, although, you know, there's a cool little sequence there. I've changed my mind already. Oh shit! It's a different Zord. I didn't even realise. This is the one I had as a kid. Oh yeah, I had it as a kid in fucking mint condition, kept it in its box for years, thrown out by the parents. That's what they're there for, folks. They give you a life and then slowly destroy it. One childhood fucking antique at a time. So this guy does not have the hurricane kick, it's got that dash, which I don't think does anything. I gotta stop, this is... Right, here we go. I'm transitioning to the next game. Back to the SNES. The awful, painstaking SNES version of this game. And let's see if we can't do it very smoothly. Brace yourself. Here we go. This time I'm focused, I'm pumped, I feel somewhat more motivated having played a much better game. So, look at the state of Billy's character model. This has to be offensive. Now check out his run animation. I don't know who that's supposed to be representing, but they should definitely be on Twitter complaining about it. Now do you remember how the Red Ranger in this game had that sick uppercut? What has Billy got? I hear you cry. Check this out. Ow! Get off me! Look at him. Look at that. Poor Billy. Now also, if you actually saw Billy in the film, he was a pretty jacked up looking motherfucker. Like, he didn't look like no goddamn nerd. But there you go. In the game, he's wearing fucking parachute pants. Again, this is a holdover from the even worse prequel game that came out, where he looks pretty much the same. No, this music's definitely more catchy, isn't it? Definitely. That's a point in this game's favour, perhaps the only point. Billy, of course, doesn't have a flying kick, because why would he? That might be fun. Now, I know there's an audience for, like, buying every game on a system, or, you know, there it is, all jacked up Billy, look. An audience for buying every game in a system, and equally an audience for buying every game in a particular genre. I'd suggest if you're going for the beat 'em up genre, maybe put this one at the back of the list. This is it ain't so great. Again, if you've got the affinity for Power Rangers, then it's gonna have a little bit more appeal, but it's just not great, is it? It's just not great. Oh, the hits keep coming. A Z look. See, street art I thought was to be praised, so that's not the most villainous thing in the world to put a Z on the wall. Is it? I suppose if you saw like a mural of Hitler, you'd be quite upset. So I take that back. Right, here we go. I'm just going to use the screen clearing thing, because why not? That looked pretty cool. Oh, that was less cool. It would be cool to play this game two-player, to be fair, because I think that I'm having a lot of trouble with it difficulty-wise. And at least then we could divide the burden. I'm sure there's ways to play this multiplayer online, actually. And I'm sure those means are perfectly legal too. Go ahead. Okay, here we go. See, I probably should have saved my fuck power-ups for these bastards. Oh, you pricks! Gotta stop swearing. Can't stop swearing. What the f... Alright. Wait, the uppercut. I forgot about the uppercut. Oh, what a dunce. Okay, they're gonna blow up. I don't learn too good. In case you didn't notice. I could be learning disabled for all you know, so, you know, before you judge. Before you judge. You haven't seen me. I could have like half my head missing. You ever see those poor bastards with a big dent in their skull? That could be me. You don't know. So I'm dead again. I think that's it. I think that's the end of all hope. Well, from the one stage I played, I can honestly say the SNES version is the inferior version of this game. If you're going to play one, play the Genesis. You made it to the end of the video. Brilliant. But did you remember to like, comment and subscribe? Did you? Why not watch another video?